Hello everyone! Today we're going to be talking about Elvis Presley. Oh yeah, welcome to Reacting Reddit, where real humans react, read, respond, narrate content on Reddit, combine it all together to make informative and educational content for you! So, today we're talking about Elvis because it's January 8th, which was Elvis Presley's birthday! And Elvis Presley is a really interesting historical music figure because he is one of the most idolized there is. And he existed in a time where it was much easier to be controversial. Now, you can be controversial and you may get some hate, but a lot of people, you'll become quite popular for it. Whereas back in the day, if you stood out, let's rephrase. Back in the day, the nail that stood out got hammered down, whereas nowadays, the nail that manages to stand out gets admired and idolized for its perseverance. So let's get into it. This first reply is by Russell Maniac. And today we're talking about the last performance that Elvis Presley had. This was about 2 months before he died, and if you watch this video, it is touching. You can tell he is on death's door. There's people who say that at this moment he had a lot of organ problems, he was in a lot of pain, and he really was just making the best of what he could and singing anyway. But he really was a person who died doing what he loved, even though he was very sick and in pain. Russell Maniac says, I was never a huge fan of him. However, I listened to his music often enough, and I remember watching him in movies as well. He was, however, a huge star during the time that I was growing up. I went to a private school in Bel Aire in Los Angeles during 4th through 6th grades, and there were lots of stars kids that went there. I was best friends with Bob Newharts' son until he got expelled for disrupting class. Surprise, surprise, Bob Newharts' son was a class clown. Don Rickles' daughter was a year behind me. I was good friends with, oh my god, all this name dropping. I was good friends with Carrie Hamilton, and there were quite a few others there as well. Okay, so all so far this person has said is that they knew a bunch of famous people and went to a really, 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 really rich and wealthy area for school, basically. When I was in 6th grade, I remember all the kids getting excited that Elvis Presley's daughter, Lisa Mary, would be attending the school. Celebrities were no big thing at that school. However, Elvis's daughter was huge. I remember being with a group of people that hung outside her classroom to get a glimpse of her. That kind of stardom Elvis got in those days was over the top, and what happened at school was likely a microcosm of what went on in his and his family's life. Interesting. So this person was like, I didn't like Elvis, but I do remember how popular he was. I went to this school where a bunch of really famous people went, and they talked about him all the time. Okay, moving on. Katie Bell says it's funny. It seems like this is the Elvis most people, my age 24, remember. But I grew up listening to his 1950s recordings and the movies he filmed during his 20s. Elvis has always been my favorite celebrity. I'm very sad that our lives never even overlapped. When I think of him, I see a lithe 22-year-old dancing to Jailhouse Rock. I enjoyed this post, being reminded that he still had that stunning talent and charisma even after his health had declined so badly. Thanks for this post. Zombie2URBX says he wasn't trash though. This was one of his last performances because he had a degenerative disease. Although I don't know the name of it right now. Well, you could argue that being in death's door means you're trashed by death, you know? Being trashed just means that you aren't in your normal senses. You aren't sober. And yeah, it's true that drugs can get you trashed. You know, alcohol can get you trashed. But so can near-death circumstances. They very much affect and alter your senses. So I don't think people are suggesting that he's on tons and tons of drugs and is trashed that way. It's more like, oh, he's dying and that's why he's trashed. Next comment by Player Hater 812. It is interesting to think of all the musical greats who ended early because of outside influences. Cobain, Presley, Morrison, Cass, Hendrix, Lennon, Orbison, Marley, Joplin, Hoplin, Chuck D, Holly, Winehouse, the list goes on and on. But Keith Richards is alive and well. Phew. Man, when you say it that way, it almost sounds like there's more people who die at a young age as musicians than live. But I guess there's been a lot of people trying to be musicians. I've always wondered about that industry because, like, the rock star scene obviously has more drugs and it's easy to fall into that. You get a lot of money, you start partying really hard, and you forget about the rest of life and you die. But I don't know, is that actually that common? Like, are more people in that industry dying to suicide and drug problems than other industries? I don't know. I've never looked at it in that much detail. So you listening to this, check it out. Comment and let me know. Grape Room says, what's going on at the end of the video where he sings the high note, but it stops, but we can still hear it? Is it lip syncing or just on a loop? Oh yeah, that's a loop. It's like when you have somebody who's doing mixing, right? When you're doing a live performance and you do part of it and then they make that part repeat or continue just for like musical effect. Hugh Gnu says it's the background singers. They were singing the note at the same time, and when he dropped out, they were still there. Oh, cheaper way to do, maybe more effective way to actually have singers doing the loop instead of just doing it with technology. A lot of time now, if you see somebody on a keyboard, they're not actually just playing the piano. They're also like applying all these audio things, making other people's music do loop stuff, making the beat that they just made do loops. Keyboarding is like you're on a piano, but you're also on a computer. It's super intense. All right, everybody, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this. Go listen to some Elvis Presley music, show some appreciation, learn about him, do something. Whether you like him or not, very influential figure in musical history and absolutely worth studying. If you want to make this kind of content, please reach out to us. We are looking for other people interested in making YouTube channels where they record their screen while they explore, react, read, comment, narrate stuff online that they're interested in. If this is interesting to you, go to our YouTube channel, click on the For Business Inquiries section, go to the About section, and send us an email after doing the CAPTCHA code. We want to have a Zoom call with you. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. See you next time. Ciao.